Hello there. In today's lesson, we're going to revise how to find a unit fraction of a quantity. So the word unit means one or it means single. So we are going to find a single fraction of a quantity. For example, we might find 1/5 of 25, or we might find 1/6 of a bag of 36 sweets, or we could find 1/8 of a group of 64 children sitting inside the school hall. You need to grab yourself a piece of paper and a pen to do this activity, as there are lots of questions for you to have a go at by yourselves at the end. We'll begin our lesson by revising what a fraction actually is. So, if you look at this diagram, you can see that here I have one whole circle, and a fraction is an equal part of a whole. So it could be any whole that you like. It could be a whole cake, it could be a whole pizza, a whole piece of string, a whole plank of wood. But the key is that it is divided into equal pieces so that we have fractions. If you come over to my second diagram here, you can see that my whole has been divided into two equal pieces. In my next diagram, my whole has been divided into four equal pieces. Now, here, when the whole is divided into two pieces, that's called a half. And when my whole has been divided into four pieces, we call that a quarter. In this diagram here, the whole has still been divided into four equal pieces, but 1, 2, 3 of those equal pieces have been shaded. And we say that that fraction is 3/4. Now let's look at that in a little bit more detail. Here's that fraction again, 3/4, and here's a diagram here of 3/4 of a piece of pizza. Now, first of all, by looking at that fraction, you can see that the number at the bottom here is called the denominator, and the denominator is crucial as it tells us how many equal parts our whole needs to be divided into. And we always look at the denominator to work out how many divisions we need. We can then look at the top number. Now, if that top number was 1, we would have a unit fraction, one single fraction. But here it is 3. So the numerator tells us how many equal parts we have. So here we have 3 out of 4 pieces of pizza. Let's move on. I want us to find 1/6 of 30. 1/6 is a unit fraction because the numerator is 1. So we're going to start by using the same bar method that we use in class. Now, if you want to use bars at home, which I strongly advise to begin with, either cut strips of paper up and make your own bars, or just draw bars onto your piece of paper and they will help you. Okay, so if I look at that bar there, I know that the whole of my bar is going to be worth 30. Okay, because I'm finding 1/6 of 30. So I'm going to go over now and I'm going to look at this number here. This is my denominator, and that tells me that I need to split my bar into 6 equal pieces. I'm going to try my hardest here to get 6 equal pieces. As long as we get it correct roughly, we're all right, because you know that all the pieces are the same. So there's 1, and if I cut this one into 3 pieces, 1 there and 1 there, so I've got 3 and another 3 here. Okay, so we are going to just have to pretend that those pieces are all the same size. So what we now need to do is work out what each of those 6 pieces is worth, and we do that by using division. And we're going to have a go at thinking about using division to find our unit fractions. So what we need to do is we need to split our whole bar into 6 equal pieces, which is the same as doing 30 divided by 6. So I know that 6 times 5 is 30. Therefore, I know that 30 divided by 6 must be 5. There you go. Now, I now know that this section is 5, 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 and this section is worth 5. If I was to add all those 5s up, I would have 30. So therefore, 1/6 of 30 is equal to 5. And that's it. We've just found a unit fraction. Let's have a look at one more question. Okay, so this time we're going to find 1/8 of 48. I've drawn my bar ready. So there's my whole bar, and we know that my whole bar must be worth, that's right, it must be worth 48. So how many divisions do you think I need? Let's see, what do you think? Did you say 8? You're right, because our numerator is 1 and our denominator is 8. And it's the denominator that tells us how many divisions we need. So I'm going to try and be a little bit more accurate this time. I'm going to divide my whole into half. Then I'm going to divide each half into half again. So I've got quarters. And then I'm going to divide each one of those into half again. And it is actually quite tricky doing this on the screen. But as I said, you've got to imagine that these are all really equal in size. There you go. Not quite there, but we can use our imagination. Okay, so I've now got a bar worth 48 that's divided into 8 equal pieces. Now we need to use our division to work out 48 divided by 8. So you have a go. Right, I'll try now. So I know 8 6s and 6 8s are 48. So I know that 48 divided by 8 must be 6. So each 8th here must be equivalent to 6. There you go. And that is it. Just by dividing by the denominator, we have found the answer to our question, which is 6. Right, I've got some more for you to try now. What I'll do is move on to the next slide, and then I want you to pause the screen. On your piece of paper, I want you to practice answering these questions, and then when you finish them, you can unpause and the answers are on my next screen. Here goes. Pause the screen or your video now. Hello again. So you should have paused your video and you should have had a go answering all of those questions just simply by dividing by the denominator, and here are the answers. Now you know how to find unit fractions. I want you to practice this over the next couple of days, and then we're going to move on to finding non-unit fractions. Enjoy the activities. Bye.